So the first thing we see about these tests is that they bring out the evil in your heart. The second thing that we learn about these tests is they show you not just the evil in general, but they show you your idols in particular. So let me just cut to the chase and give you a practical example that a lot of people will be able to relate to. Because most people have been through something like this. So let's just say you're dating somebody who you really love, and you really hope something will happen, and that person breaks it off. That person drops you. What's going to happen? Well, there's only two things that can happen. Everybody, some people will be just filled with sorrow, and they will be, it'll take weeks and months to get over it, but they will get past it because they will become more, they will learn how to depend more on other people like their friends. They'll learn how to depend more on God. They'll debrief themselves and say, I didn't do some things right in this relationship. I see certain flaws in my own character. I see certain ways in which I don't know how to conduct relationships like I should. And when it comes out to the other end, you'll be wiser. You'll get through it. You'll process the adversity. And you'll get through it, and you'll become wiser for it. And the other response that people give to it is they never get over it. They hardly ever get over it. They stay bitter against the opposite sex, or they get bitter against themselves. They feel like, I'm a failure, I must be something pretty bad, nobody was ever going to love me. They begin to look around, they become bitter toward life, they become cynical about love, they refuse to ever completely trust somebody else. They never get over it. What's the difference? Here's the difference. If you break up with somebody and you're sad, that's one thing. If you break up with somebody and you've lost all meaning in life and you feel like you don't even want to live, that's because that person has become an idol. And we've talked about this a couple times during this series, have we not? That person has become more important to you than God or Jesus or anything else. A greater source of your significance and security than anything else, and that person has become a pseudo-God, a pseudo-savior, right? An idol. And it's the suffering of losing this person that will show you the inordinate attachment you give to love or to romance or to that person. And there's only two things you can do with it. You can either admit that half my sorrow is the normal sorrow that comes from the brokenness of life and losing love, but another half of my sorrow comes because of inordinate attachment. It comes because I don't rest and enjoy Jesus Christ anywhere near like I should. I may believe in him, but he's really not the emotional center of my heart. And you can say, there's an idol here, and then you can turn from it, or else you cannot admit that's the problem, and blame the person, and blame people around you, and blame the way that people of the opposite sex are, and blame the society, and just become harder and harder, and more cynical, and less in touch with who you are, and less in touch with human nature, and more distorted in your views of things. You're becoming a fool. Less and less likely to make those right choices when you come to the forks in the road. Will you do that? Don't you see? Adversity will show you the idols of your heart. It will scream them at you. And you can either admit what's happening, or else you can, like most people, just deny that that's what's going on. Refuse to see the ordinate suffering and the inordinate suffering that come from normal kinds of suffering and the inordinate attachments that come because my heart has been too attached to something.